There is a guy I know named Daniel. Daniel is not the loudest person in the room. He does not tell the best stories, nor is he the funniest. He barely even tries, but every single time I have watched him at a party, at a dinner, or at a work event, he is the one people gravitate toward, the one women remember, the one men respect without quite knowing why. I spent years trying to figure out what Daniel was doing, and then one night, it hit me. He wasn't doing anything. That was the whole point. While everyone around him was performing, talking louder, laughing bigger, trying harder, Daniel was just there, calm, present, completely unbothered by whether the room approved of him or not. And that stillness, in a world full of noise, was the most magnetic thing in the building. Here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the self-improvement space wants to say out loud. Most advice about charisma is making you less charismatic, at least when you only superficially copy it. Most new tricks you add, techniques you layer on, or hacks you try to remember mid-conversation don't make you more magnetic. They make you more mechanical. They turn a human being into a performance, and people can smell a performance from across the room. So today, we are going in a completely different direction. We are not adding anything, we are subtracting. I'm going to show you 5 things that the most magnetic people have already removed from their social behavior, and how removing them will do more for your charisma than any amount of new skills ever could. But first, you must know your baseline, because you cannot subtract the right things if you do not know where the real leaks are. I built a free charisma score test that pinpoints exactly which habits are quietly draining your presence. It takes under 3 minutes and is completely free. The link is in the description. Please take it before you keep watching. It will make everything we cover today feel much more personal instead of generic. Now let's dive in. Subtraction 1. Stop explaining yourself. You make a joke. Nobody laughs. So you say, I mean, it was funnier in my head, and immediately the awkwardness doubles. You share an opinion, someone questions it, so you immediately add, well, I mean, I could be wrong, I don't know. And the opinion you just shared evaporates into thin air. You cancel plans, so you send a 3-paragraph text explaining exactly why, apologizing twice, and offering 3 alternative dates to prove you still care. This habit, the compulsive need to explain, justify, and overqualify everything, is one of the quietest charisma killers that exists, and most people do it constantly without realizing it. Here is what over-explaining actually signals to everyone around you. I do not trust that I am enough on my own. Every unnecessary explanation is a small advertisement for your own insecurity. You are essentially telling the room, I'm not sure you'll accept this, so let me build a legal case for why you should. The most magnetic people do the opposite. They say what they mean and then they stop. The joke lands or it doesn't. They don't perform an autopsy. Their opinion stands or it gets challenged. Either way, they do not crumble. Their no is a complete sentence. Start practicing this today. Next time you catch yourself about to add, I mean, or sorry, or it's probably stupid, but stop. Take a breath. Let the silence hold what you said. You will feel the discomfort of not filling the gap. That discomfort is exactly where your charisma is being rebuilt. But over-explaining is only one way that most guys bleed their status without knowing it. There is something even more damaging they do with their face, and they do it every single time they're not sure if they are being accepted. Subtraction 2. Stop performing emotions you don't feel. Watch any group of people at a party and you will see it within 60 seconds. Someone tells a story, it finishes, and 3 people perform a laugh. A loud, slightly too big laugh that does not quite reach their eyes. They are not laughing because something was funny. They are laughing because they are afraid of the silence, afraid of seeming cold, afraid that if they do not react visibly enough, they will be seen as rude. This is performed emotion, and it is one of the most damaging things you can do to your own presence. Here is why. Human beings are extraordinarily good at detecting authenticity. Not consciously, most people could not tell you exactly what feels off. But somewhere in the brain, at a level below language, there is a detector that is always running. And when it catches a fake laugh, a performed smile, or an enthusiasm that does not match the eyes, it files a note. This person is not real. And you cannot trust someone who is not real. And you cannot be attracted to someone you cannot trust. The subtraction here is simple, but deeply uncomfortable. Stop performing reactions you do not feel. If something is genuinely funny, laugh. If it is not, do not. A calm, neutral expression on a man who is clearly at ease with himself reads as confident and selective. The same expression on a man who is trying to hide his discomfort reads as awkward. The difference is not the expression, it is the stillness underneath it. When you stop performing, something unexpected happens. The reactions you do give, the real ones, become powerful. When a man who rarely laughs out loud genuinely laughs at something, the whole room notices. When someone who does not hand out compliments freely gives you one, it actually means something. Authenticity is rare, and like everything rare, it is magnetic. But even the most authentic man in the room can destroy his presence in an instant with the next habit, and it happens the moment someone challenges him. Subtraction 3. Stop reacting to bait. Someone makes a slightly disrespectful comment, a passive-aggressive joke at your expense, a small power move dressed up as humor. Most guys react immediately, either by getting defensive, firing back, or laughing it off in a way that makes it painfully obvious they were actually offended by it. All three of these reactions do the same thing. They prove the bait worked. They hand control of the interaction to whoever threw it. One of the most powerful social skills you will ever develop is learning not to take bait. Not because you are weak, not because you are a pushover, but because the man who cannot be rattled is infinitely more intimidating than the man who snaps back. When you react, you show your buttons. When you don't, people start to wonder if you even have any. The technique is what I call the slow blink. When something is said that is clearly designed to get a rise out of you, do not rush. Let a full 2 seconds pass. Maintain eye contact. Let the trace of a calm smile sit on your face, and then either address it with a single, unhurried sentence, or simply move the conversation forward as if nothing of consequence just happened. Both responses send the same message: that did not land, and I am not impressed enough to make a scene about it. There is a psychological term for this kind of emotional steadiness. It is called high distress tolerance, and study after study on attraction and social status shows the same thing. The person who remains calm when others expect them to lose control is immediately perceived as the most powerful person in the room. Stop reacting to bait. Make people wonder what it would actually take to get to you. But even then, there is something subtler than bait that most guys fall for every single day, something so built into their behavior that they do not even see it as a problem. Subtraction 4. Stop filling every silence. Silence makes most people physically uncomfortable. You can see it happen in real time. The pause in a conversation stretches past 2 seconds, and suddenly someone is talking, saying something, anything, just to kill the quiet. Most of the time, that person is you. And every time you rush to fill a silence, you are doing 2 things. First, you are signaling anxiety. The need to keep talking is the social equivalent of fidgeting. Second, you are robbing yourself of the most powerful conversational tool that exists. Silence is not dead air. Silence is pressure, and pressure reveals character. Think about what happens when you let a silence sit after someone says something interesting. They feel compelled to elaborate, to go deeper, to fill the space you deliberately left open. With nothing but a pause, you have pulled more out of them than 10 follow-up questions would have. Or think about what happens when someone challenges you and you respond with absolute stillness. No rush, no defense, no performance. The silence communicates something words cannot. I am not rattled. I do not need to fill this space. I am comfortable here. That is the posture of a man who owns the room. Try this practical exercise. In your next conversation, every time you feel the urge to fill a silence, wait 3 extra seconds first. It will feel like an eternity, but I want you to do it anyway. Watch what the other person does, and notice how differently they look at you when you are the one comfortable in the quiet. Learning to own silence will change the way people experience you overnight. But there is one final thing most guys are doing, constantly, compulsively, invisibly, that undoes all of this, and it is the one subtraction that ties everything else together. Subtraction 5. Stop needing the room's approval. Here is the deepest truth about charisma, and the one that took me the longest to actually understand. Every single habit we have talked about today, the over-explaining, the performed laughter, the snap reactions, the rushed words to fill silence, they all come from the same place. They are all symptoms of the same root problem, the need to be approved of. When you need the room to like you, you over-explain so they understand you. You perform emotions so they feel comfortable with you. You react to bait so they know you are not a pushover. You fill silence so they do not think you are awkward. Every move is a transaction. So you are trading your authenticity for their acceptance. And the brutal irony is that the more you need their approval, the less of it you get. Because approval seeking has a frequency that people detect instantly. It makes you feel like someone who is trying to get something from the room, and nobody wants to give their attention, let alone their attraction, to someone who is quietly demanding it. The subtraction here is the hardest one on the list. You have to genuinely stop caring whether every person in the room likes you, not as a tactic, not as a performance of not caring. Actually, internally, deciding that your value does not depend on their reaction. The way to build this is simple but slow. Start keeping the promises you make to yourself. Show up to the gym when you said you would. Finish the project you said you would start. Say no when you mean no. Every time you honor your own word, you deposit something into your internal bank account. And when that account is full, when you have real evidence that you are someone who follows through, who has standards, who does not need external validation because you have built it internally, the need for approval starts to quietly disappear. And in its place, something arrives that no charisma technique can manufacture. The unshakable, effortless presence of a man who is completely at ease with exactly who he is. That is what Daniel has. That is what every truly magnetic person has. Not more tricks, not better lines, just less noise and more of themselves. Charisma has never been about addition. The most magnetic people in the world are not the ones who learned the most techniques. They are the ones who stripped away everything fake, everything performative, everything rooted in fear, until all that was left was someone completely, unapologetically real. That person is already in there. You just have to stop covering them up. So, if you haven't already, I highly recommend you take the free Charisma Score test. It shows you exactly where you stand, and from there you can really start building. The link is in the description.